Let's talk about Lebanon. Um, I don't think there's any other way to read what happened as a kind of the exploding pagers and walkie-talkies. Israel had to know that there would be a response. Up until now, Hezbollah, like Iran, has, I think, carefully calibrated responses because they don't want a regional war. But there are just so many ways this can go wrong, including, of course, the occupation of southern Lebanon once again. How do you see what's happening in Lebanon?
First of all, I'm very, very worried that it's going for a ground operation. And a ground operation will be a game changer. And I think we are very close to it. Even if Netanyahu is not in favor, his partners don't leave him any choice. His partner in the coalition. And you heard it just today when there was an idea for a ceasefire offered by the United States and France. And when he get on the plane on the way to New York, he didn't say anything. But when he got off, after he got so many objections from his partners, he immediately put it off the table. So he's quite taken hostage by the extremists in his government. But in any case, I'm very scared that we are going to a ground operation, and then we are really in trouble. Everyone is in trouble then. And I think that, again, it's all about the capabilities, not about any restraints that Israel will put on itself. I would say even something more outrageous. Until now, I'm very careful. Until now, Hezbollah is more careful than Israel in using its force. Maybe it will change tonight. But until now, they are more careful and more responsible. Israel is going all the way and doing anything possible to push Hezbollah to go for an overall war. It's very clear. We are doing anything possible to push them to the wall, and then they will start to launch rockets on Tel Aviv, and then we have an overall war.
And is that because they believe that they can break Hezbollah? Uh, that if they use this overwhelming violence, include, of course, they're now bombing parts of Beirut once again as they bomb decimated West Beirut. Um, is that what they believe? Do they think that that this will break Hezbollah and break Iran?
Exactly as they believe that they can break Hamas. And with Hamas, they failed, and Hamas is much weaker than Hezbollah.
Yeah.
And they failed just a few months ago. And we don't draw any lessons out of it. It's unbelievable. It's not history from years ago. It's from now. They didn't break Hamas. At all not. And here they go for the same strategy also with Lebanon, believing that they have to crush Hamas and that Hezbollah, and that it is possible. And we learned, we didn't learn, but we saw already that in Gaza it didn't work. So why would it work in Lebanon, for God's sake? With a much stronger organization, with a much more massive Iranian commitment than to Hamas. But
So
that's a matter of fact.
paint for me the worst scenario. What worries you the most about where we could head?
For the short run, it's a regional war. But for the long run,
When you say
my main
regional war, are you including Iran and Syria?
yes, sure.
Hmm.
In one way or the other, sure. That's the worst scenario if Iran gets in. But for the long run, my concerns are much different. First of all, as an Israeli who never thought to leave Israel and will not leave Israel, it's becoming an impossible place
Hmm.
to live in. And that's a major concern for me, personally. It is also about the world, normalizing it and learning to live with it. I'm very afraid that what happened to the American natives might happen to the Palestinians. Many of my friends used to say, no, there's no example in the world in which a people struggled over its rights and failed. Finally, justice will prevail. I look at the American natives, and this is not the case. Palestinians can turn into it. The world will, in a certain stage, will be sick and tired of this whole thing. Things will become normalized, legitimized, and it will be very clear that the world lives in peace with a clear, declared apartheid state, which is the darling of the West. This might happen. We are not far from this. And then we are really living forever in an apartheid state with all the consequences. I can't see a more probable scenario than this right now.
I mean, the only thing I would add is that in order to subdue the indigenous population in the United States, they had to kill 90% of Native Americans by 1898. I think that was Wounded Knee. 90% had been killed.
This is true, but first of all, Israel is doing its job in killing not 90%, but in Gaza, I think we killed already in this war, if I'm not mistaken, 5%.
Well, we've killed a lot. Israel's killed a lot more than 40,000. I mean, there are so many. I know so many Palestinians, and they just tick off, as you must have heard, the numbers of missing, the people that are unaccounted for.
So we are doing the job. We are getting there. And secondly, we are killing the Palestinian people. The people of Gaza, after this war, will not be the same people. We broke all the solidarity there, all the social networks. I mean, we are really breaking them as a people. You don't need necessarily to kill them physically. But we are killing their spirit. We are killing... You see, they must be broken people. It's not clear yet because none of us can get there and see what's going on, what is really going on. But this is killing. My book is called Killing of Gaza. It's not only the physical killing. It is really also the national killing, the killing of the spirit, the killing of morality, the killing of values, the killing of everything which is human. So we are on the right way.
Great. That was journalist Gideon Levy. We were discussing his book, The Killing of Gaza, Reports on a Catastrophe. I want to thank Thomas, Sophia, Diego, and Max, who produced the show. You can find me at chrishedges.substack.com.
And I would like to, Chris, to thank you for this very, very challenging and interesting conversation, at least for me.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for having me.